The Las Vegas Raiders went into the game last night at 3-4 and tied for second place in the AFC West, so technically they're not out of it. It just seemed like they were because they had yet to play well this season. A win would have put them at 4-4 and in second place in the AFC West all by themselves, so beating the then 5-2 Detroit Lions would have been big. It seemed like too much to ask before the game. After seeing that game, it might be too much to ask the Raiders to beat the New York Giants and the New York Jets in the next two games. If the way they played last night is any indication, it's a big ask at the very least. The Raiders seem to look worse every week. Here's what we learned about the Raiders from their Week 5 loss. I'm not saying head coach Josh McDaniels is good now or anything like that, but he at least learned one thing. He had a formula that worked last year. Run the ball and throw it deep off of play action. Running the ball and throwing it short can be stopped with the same defense. When you throw it deep, the defense can only be set to stop one or the other. Running back Josh Jacobs had a bad start to the season because the opposing defense were loading the box to stop him because they had no fear of the deep ball. The Raiders just wouldn't throw it, so Jacobs' highest yards per carry average in the game this season was 3.5 yards per carry coming in. Last night, Jacobs had 61 yards on 15 carries and averaged 4.1 yards per carry. That was the first game this year Jacobs averaged 4 yards per carry. He was well on his way to a 100-yard game, but the Raiders fell too far behind to keep running. The improvement was due to McDaniels dialing up way more deep shots than he dialed up to this point. They didn't complete them, but they prevented the Lions from simply stacking the box on them all night. The Raiders couldn't complete any of these deep balls because quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo was off on all of them. Adams could have had himself a hell of a night if Garoppolo was on. He could have had touchdowns from 26, 60, and 98 yards out if Garoppolo could throw the ball right. As it was, Adams had one catch for 11 yards on the night. It's a sin for a superstar receiver of his caliber to have that type of night. Garoppolo was a brutal 10 of 21 for 126 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception. His passer rating was 46.9 and his QBR was 3.7. You gotta be kidding me. McDaniels actually did what he was supposed to do last night, so we can't really blame him for that. I'll tell you what we can blame him for, though. He is the one who chose to bring Garoppolo in and sign him to a big contract. No, I'm not saying they should have kept Carr. He doesn't fit McDaniels. Plus, I'm not going to play the Carr versus Garoppolo game. However, I will say McDaniels could have brought Jarrett Stidham back. He also could have started rookie Aiden O'Connell once he saw how horrible Garoppolo and Hoyer are. Oh, we're actually learning all that turnover talk this offseason is coming into fruition. Okay. The Raider defense didn't actually become a turnover machine, but they're getting better in that department as the year goes on. The Raider defense averaged 0.8 turnovers a game last year, good for last in the NFL. So far this year, they've jumped up 8 spots to number 24 in the league, averaging 1 turnover a game. In the last 3 games, they've averaged 1.3 turnovers a game, good for number 22 in the league. Then last night, they collected 3 to tie them for first in the league for Week 8. At the beginning of this year, the Raiders either missed out at the opportunity of creating a turnover or had them wiped out by a penalty. Then, of course, they gradually got better at it, and last night was their best night this year in that department. One of the reasons is corner Marcus Peters, who was brought over just for that purpose, got himself on the board last night. After dropping a couple of interceptions earlier in the year, he took one back 75 yards for a touchdown last night. It kind of reminded me of Willie Brown. I wanted to call him Old Man Marcus. Alright, we might have known for a while that Garoppolo isn't it, but we really know he's not it now. He can't even make opposing defenses pay for putting 8 in the box. What happened to him? His deep ball was just fine when he played for the San Francisco 49ers. At least the Raiders are throwing him now, though. Josh Jacobs is starting to do his thing because of it. He averaged 4 yards per carry for the first time in the game last night. And the defense, there's finally something good to say about the defense this year. As long as they had to stay on the field last night, they still got the offense 3 turnovers. It's time to go with the youngster at quarterback. Thank you for watching. See you next time.